At the beginning of the story, we see some NASA astronauts who are on their mission to Mars. All of these astronauts are collecting soil samples there. Suddenly, they get information that a very big storm is about to come, and all of them now have to cancel their mission and reach their flying object as soon as possible. Now they all start moving toward their flying object. At that moment, Mark Watney, who is an astronaut and a botanist, gets hit by something and he gets lost in the storm. Although their commander tries very hard to find him, there is no trace of Mark, nor is there any contact with him. They think that Mark Watney is no longer alive in this world, so they all reach their flying object and leave from there. But when the storm on Mars calms down, it is seen that Mark Watney is still alive, and one of their equipment's rods has gone into his body, into his stomach, which is causing him a lot of pain. Somehow, he gets up from there and reaches his camp, which they had set up as a shelter. Inside, he pulls out that rod from his body. Mark Watney cannot contact anyone from here because all the contact equipment was destroyed in the storm, and now Watney is stuck here alone. His companions think that he no longer exists in the world. If he wants to get out from here, he will have to wait for the next 4 years because NASA's next project will arrive 3,200 kilometers away after 4 years, and he will have to reach there. But Watney cannot wait for 4 years because he does not have food for 4 years. Now he has to arrange food for himself in some way. That's why he decides that he will farm here on Mars. He has potatoes, and he wants to grow potatoes here. But to make the soil fertile, he needs a lot of water, and there is no water on Mars. Because Watney is a botanist, he knows what is needed for farming, so he starts preparing a farm here. He gathers a lot of soil in one place, puts potatoes in it, and plants them. Now he has to make water. The good news is that Watney knows how to make water. By mixing oxygen with hydrogen and burning it, water is made. He has all the resources, so he does this. But when he mixes hydrogen with oxygen for the first time, a strong blast happens because he did not calculate the oxygen coming from his own breath. But next time, when he mixes hydrogen and oxygen and burns it, he succeeds, and now water starts forming there. In fact, by this process, evaporation happens, and small drops of water start forming, which is enough for the soil he needs. After a few days, the first plant grows there, which makes Watney very happy. On the other side, on Earth, it is announced that Watney is no longer alive. This news spreads everywhere in the media, and even his funeral is done. But the next day, when their operator is looking at pictures of Mars from the satellite, she sees that the equipment there has shifted from one place to another. Actually, these are the solar panels which Watney had shifted. She calls her seniors, and they all understand that Watney is still alive on Mars. But their senior says that we know he is alive, but by the time we reach there, he will die of hunger. Somewhere, he is right, because from Earth to Mars it will take several months to travel, and they know that Watney does not have food for that long. Now 70 days have passed for Watney on Mars, and he calculates that NASA's next mission to land on Mars will land after 4 years, and that 3,200 kilometers away, and then he will have to reach there. This journey will take him about 50 days, because his vehicle cannot go more than 35 kilometers in one day, since after that he has to recharge his solar panels. Down on Earth, people at NASA are preparing to send food and help to Watney. But it will take them 3 months to prepare fully, and the flying object they send will take 9 months to reach Mars. That means a full 1 year. Up on Mars, 48 days have passed for Watney's potato crop. He has grown 400 plants, which grew much better than expected. Now he harvests the potatoes and replants the smaller ones. He uses his waste as fertilizer. But he knows that if he doesn't contact NASA, no matter how many potatoes he grows, he will not survive. That's why he goes to a place where there is a pathfinder that had broken down in 1997 and lost contact with Earth. When Watney goes there, NASA's team, which has been monitoring his movements through satellite, realizes that Mark Watney is going to get that pathfinder because nothing else is there. But this is a very old system and can only send photos from Mars. So Watney sets up 3 boards in front of the camera. On the middle board, he writes, "Are you receiving my signals?" On the left board, he writes, "Yes." And on the right one, "No." NASA's team moves the Pathfinder's camera towards yes, and Watney understands that they're seeing him. This makes him very happy. After this, Watney uses codes to talk to them, and now they can exchange messages. NASA sends him a message that they are sending food and necessary supplies. Watney also learns that NASA has not yet told his crew that he is alive. His crew, who are still in space and returning towards Earth, are informed later that Watney is alive. This makes them happy but also sad, because they left him alone there. But now they cannot do anything. On Mars, when everything is going fine, one day there's a blast in the place where he had planted potatoes, and all of his crops are destroyed. Now he cannot grow crops again because the atmosphere he had created there is completely destroyed. It is calculated that with the potatoes he has, he cannot stay alive until help from Earth reaches him. That means he will die of hunger before help arrives. That's why NASA sends him a message that he must now eat less food so that he can stay alive until the help and food reach him. When he does this, what he used to eat 3 times a day, now he makes one meal last for 3 days. Down on Earth, NASA prepares a launch with food and supplies, but they're running late, so they don't test it and launch it directly. But once again, Watney's luck does not support him. After the launch, the rocket blasts in the sky. Everyone is disappointed because now Watney cannot be saved. He has no food, and no help can reach him. When Watney finds out that the launch has failed, he breaks down and sends a message to NASA. He writes, "Make sure this message reaches my parents. I am not giving up, but we must be prepared for every outcome. Tell them that I love my work and I am good at it, and if I die in it, then my death will have a purpose bigger than me." Now NASA completely loses hope, but China decides to help NASA because they already have preparations to go into space. Now, with China's help, NASA prepares another launch in 28 days. NASA decides not to do this because they cannot risk 5 lives for one whose chances of survival are already very low. Meanwhile, on Mars, Watney completes the work he had come for, which was left incomplete due to the storm. On the other hand, the 5 of them decide, without NASA's permission, to bring Watney back. When NASA sees that the direction of their spaceship has changed, they realize that these 5 astronauts are going back to get Watney. On Mars, Watney sets out to reach the MAV, Mars Ascent Vehicle. After a 90-day-long journey, he reaches the place from where he can leave Mars. The whole world's eyes are on this mission. Watney's MAV starts flying toward space and reaches orbit. They try to communicate with him by radio, but due to pressure he faints, so communication doesn't happen. After some time, he regains consciousness, and everyone becomes happy. But now another problem. Watney's speed is too fast, so catching him is not easy. Watney says he will make a hole in his spacesuit, and with the air coming out, he will push himself in the right direction towards them. His companions forbid him, but still the Hermes spaceship's speed is too high. They have to blow up part of their ship to reduce speed. Now, they see Watney coming toward them. The commander of the spaceship goes on a flying chair to catch him, but the rope she is tied with ends before reaching him, so it seems impossible. At this point, Watney does what he said. He makes a hole in his spacesuit, leaves the MAV, and with the air jet from his suit, directs himself towards the commander. Just as he is about to catch her hand, he slips away, but he grabs the rope she is tied with. And in this way, they bring Watney back into the spaceship, saving his life. After facing so many difficulties, when Watney returns to Earth, he becomes an instructor for astronauts, teaching them how to survive on other planets. With this scene, the movie ends. Tell me in the comments below, because I read your comments, and thank you very much for your lovely comments.